Alright. Welcome. Thank you guys for checking us out. This is our first segment of Coffee with a Cop. We got Mendoza, Marin, Coffee, Cop. We're both some done deal vets. We might not be captains like a lot of people that voice their opinions in the league. So we wanted to give you a different perspective, even though every week you get my power rankings. But just a different perspective on like other people have voices too, you know? I've been in Done Deal since season 1. We're on season 12 now.
I've been around season 3 to season 5, but I've been here a while as well.
So we've seen a lot of like the change in Done Deal, from like the Done Dealers to Red Zone people coming in. I know people don't like to be called Red Zone people, but it's just a different dynamic. But
I think competitively, the league has gotten way better though.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have.
Because I remember Renee was a captain at one point, and Garrison was a...
Renee and G were captains at one point. Alec was a first-round pick. Like, things changed a lot. Also, that was before, like, our scrimmage rule was really, like, mandatory. So, like, now we have to have 2 scrimmages, and, like, it's a little more fair, like, the way we project, like, the captains and stuff, and the player talent. But, yeah.
So let's, we're going to get into our first week of Coffee with a Cop. Thank you for checking us out.
Yeah, so first off, what do you think makes Jones so dominant? This is his second season. He's leading the number 1 ranked and number 1 seeded right now, Cowboys. What do you think makes him like the type of player he is, such a force to be reckoned with?
Well, speaking with other players, you know, you just get the sense that he has that Tom Brady mentality where he could just make the players around him so much better. And he's proven countless of times. Look at last season, his first season, no matter who was on his team, they dominated.
Yeah, they were winning games. If they lost a game, it was just they would lose 1 game a week. It wasn't anything like catastrophic to their season.
Like if Andres didn't have a rule that you can't trade mid-game, I'm pretty sure that, you know.
Yeah,
he would trade mid-game.
I mean, we'll get into trades a little later, but I feel like this season, the last season, Jones was trade crazy just because he's a rookie. He's like, oh, this is so awesome. I could just play with new people every week and just move people around, not really thinking about the players he was moving. But I think
he's more systematic with his approach this year.
And also we have the new rule where that you have to play with that player for a week, so you can't just pick up somebody. You can't just pick somebody up in the moment because you know you're going to trade them for someone else immediately after. So you have to be a little more systematic when you're thinking.
And shouts out to the committee, man, for always, you know, evolving and developing these new rules that help players out. You know, unfortunately, there's not enough, I guess, lower tiers player that voice their opinion in the matter. I mean, they show their frustration, but I think with these conversations that we're able to have, it brings different
It's
insight.
really a testament to Andres, because Andres, he's not a captain. He wasn't in Red Zone. He does this for fun, and that's what I know everyone knows that, but
they still give him shit for
it.
He
does this for fun. He doesn't take any of our money. He started this just playing basketball on the weekend with his friends, and it's evolved so much. We have fields, we had scoreboards for the last tournaments. It's really come a long way.
Yeah, definitely.
But another thing with Jones is that he's just such a smart player, and he's such a good two-way player, because
he plays both sides of the ball.
He plays both sides of the ball. He's probably the best quarterback.
And one of the top tier defenders, I think.
Yeah.
In my honest opinion.
Nico is giving him a run for that money, though. Nico
has quarterback.
But and also defense. I played against the Packers, and Nico was a ball hog. Like, he wouldn't be guarding the player, but he'd make plays. But for sure, Jones on another level. And then people feed into him with the trades, and it's not helping us. But we'll get into that later.
So that goes on to our next question. Who do you feel should be a captain and that's not a captain right now, and who shouldn't be a captain that's a captain right now in your opinion?
It's so rough. And like, there's a lot of, I'm going to put this out there before I start. There's a lot of slander against Kevin in the league. I don't dislike Kevin. I like Kevin. I love Kevin. He's a troll, and I'm okay with that. He may do things outside the league that people don't like or whatever, but he's never done anything to me malice towards anybody.
Yeah.
Even when he gets into arguments, like he had an argument with Ham or whatever, like they squash that beef. He apologized, whatever. So, but this is Kevin's second season as a captain, the last season he traded himself off his team after missing the first week, and then this year it's not looking good for the Dolphins. It's not just drafting, but also Kevin
The
might not
ability
have
to
the
lead, yeah.
playmaker, the ability to cover captains. He's smart and he's a great flag football player. But then the question is, who would I replace him with? Because I wouldn't replace him with Brett. I wouldn't replace him with Ham just because like the IQ and stuff. I hear a lot of people are high on Matt.
Me personally, I could expound on that. Sorry to cut you
I'll
off.
go.
Man, ever since I played that first scrimmage with Matt when he came for the preseason, he just showed that he had an excellent playbook and an excellent mind. IQ, the ability that I could compare him to is like maybe close to Jan, maybe not to that extent, but the way he sees the field is different. Look, he's leading the league in flag pool, so
Yeah, he could play both ways.
He could
He's
play
very
both
well.
ways.
I think that was a great pick by Marsh. I'll expand the other picks by Marsh. No offense to the Panthers.
No. I'm a self-proclaimed tier 5.
They were more questionable, but we'll get back into that later. But I'm not saying that Matt is a better flag football player than Kevin, but I think he may be able to put together a team and lead it a little better than Kevin, because Kevin does have he thinks highly of himself, and that could get in between his relationship with players, the plays on the field, the plays that they call, and it might lose some interest in his players that play with him, is what I hear from words around the league. I've never played with Kevin, so I wouldn't know. But I mean,
So you think it's interchangeable between Kevin and Matt,
there?
or
I mean, I don't think that like there's a talent gap between them. I think Kevin is a better flag football player, but I think Matt may be a better leader on the team.
yeah?
Do you have any other captains that you think could drop down, or any other players that you think could move up?
I mean, honestly, to me, it's Matt, and I can't think of anyone else right now.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else
No,
you see?
I think there is a gap between like Matt, Kevin, and then the next tier ones
It's a
or
drop
tier
off.
twos. There's a little bit of a drop off.
I mean, Brett. I like Brett. I like his mentality, and he does have the ability to lead. I just think sometimes where he gets positioned to draft, it kind of puts him out of the opportunity to draft. A lot of people knock on Marshall's ability to draft, but
Yeah.
I mean, so far we're 2-2-2.
Yeah.
I mean,
And also, Marsh's talent is way too much. It's way too high for him to even drop to a tier one.
yeah,
It's just not there.
he
Maybe
can literally take the defense over the top. I mean,
Yeah.
he mossed Kevin nasty, man.
They run that play at least once a game.
Yeah,
where
so-
it's just a go bomb to Marsh.
Yeah.
And there's almost no one that can keep up with him step for step. But yeah. So for you, what teams do you think are gonna make the playoffs? What teams do you think are in the hunt? And do you think any teams are just dead in the water?
I mean, we're gonna expound on trades in a little bit, but I feel still as if for sure Cowboys are gonna make it. Packers are gonna make it. Let's not talk about the top teams. Like, it's gonna be a battle between the bottom teams.
When you think about it, what I say, it was only like a 3-point difference between third place and last place.
Yeah,
so
so-
really any team can get in it. I do think there are some teams that if they don't make a trade, I don't think they'll be able to compete. Like the Steelers for me, I think the Steelers, if they don't make any moves, I don't think they'll make the playoffs.
The Steelers have a lot of assets that definitely other teams could use.
Yeah.
I feel as CC is a great player, and he does have that boisterous where he'll call someone out, and that's what you need to do as a captain.
Yeah.
You know, he'll say, hey, you're messing up, and he'll put you in the position to do better.
Yeah.
So Steelers need to make a trade in order to make it to the next level.
So the teams that I think that are making the playoffs would be the Packers, the Cowboys, I think the Broncos, the
Chiefs.
49ers, the Chiefs. Those
For sure.
I'm confident.
For
and
sure.
then it's the last playoff spot. Like I want to say the Seahawks, but the Seahawks, they missed CP week 1, they missed Brett week 2, Revis is out week 4. It's just hard. Unless they go 3-0 this week, it's going to be hard for them to secure that spot. And they've shown that they can win games. They won without Brett. They beat the 49ers and an upset. So
I don't want to be biased, man, but I think the Panthers, man.
You think the Panthers?
I think they're the dark horse.
I think they need to make a move.
I believe we got to make a move, but I think even if we don't make a move,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
ability of having
they're in it.
the
They're,
two captains.
Yeah.
Because I think Matt's a captain, like I said.
yeah,
That,
for sure.
that puts us at an advantage,
It does.
a big advantage.
And they're right there. They're keeping up, and the records. They're number 5 in the standings,
Yeah.
and like they find a way to win games, and to make the playoffs, that's what you're gonna need to do. But I mean, I'm not taking anything away from like the football team. They went out there. They went 2-1. I had them being a bad team. They shut me up, but also they played the Dolphins, the Panthers, and the Steelers.
So easy to.
So not
pretty-
the strength of schedule that week wasn't the hardest. They weren't playing the Cowboys.
What's their
the
schedule this
Packers.
week?
Let me tell you right now.
Because I know the Panthers have a tough schedule. We got the Seahawks,
I'll tell you right
the
now.
49ers, and.
So the
another
football
team.
team is playing the Chiefs,
Okay.
the Cowboys, and the Broncos. So this will be a week where we can gauge
You gauge.
the football team's potential. The thing for me is
I
their
agree.
lack of offense. They didn't score 4 points in any of the games this week,
Mhm.
and that's going to be hard to compete against a Jones who can light it up, a Nico that can light up. David, week 2 lit it up.
I played with Drew. I mean, I think he has Chris J at quarterback, but I think
Yeah.
they alternate a little bit.
Yeah, so there's a little playmaking there, and then it's Pepito, Jesus, and Renee.
I believe Drew should have the ball in his hand every play.
Yeah, those bottom 3 in Pepito, Jesus, Renee. No knock to any of them, but they're not playmaking. They're not
Yeah.
offensive playmakers.
Well, Pepito is a body, man. I
He's a
think
body, but he's
he'll
not
get up
gonna-
there.
He could go for an up ball and stuff like that. But I mean, you can't give him the ball on a slant and expect him to make a move and make somebody miss.
Okay.
And take it for a touchdown.
Okay. I haven't seen him on
Unlike-
offense.
unlike,
but
maybe like an
he's
Anthony
defensive
Nunez
muscle.
or
Okay.
I know it's my team, Anthony Nunez Fernie, but also CP.
Mhm.
He's a tier 4 who can make a move. You saw him. He took my team deep. He took Jones' team deep. Just like those lower level tier players that can make those people miss. He can make those potential game winning plays when it's not in the captain's hands. You feel me?
Yeah.
Who else? So the Dolphins. They look really. It's not looking good, especially with Ray and Jeremy going down with injuries.
So with the Dolphins, you think they need to make another trade?
I think
or?
the Dolphins need to make a trade, but with injured players, who's going to want to pick up a Ray who could barely walk off the field last time? He pulled his calf, and then Jeremy lost both his groins. And the thing with Jeremy is he doesn't have to be 100% to come and play quarterback. He could. So a team with like maybe Revis or Chris D. Well, we'll talk about that. in the
Yeah,
next segment, yeah.
we'll talk about that now. Well, this is a huge question, which bothers me because I love this guy, man, and he's funny. Why does everyone hate Berra so much?
So I think everyone is kind of just hopping on the Berra hate wagon because it's fun to do. It's fun to. It happened with Kevin when Kevin like left the chat last season or whatever. Everyone jumped on the fucking I hate Kevin, whatever. Kevin sucks. I think it comes from because Berra is such in the red zone community. He's a great quarterback. He plays on the G's. He's a good quarterback. He gets a lot of stuff done. He can make the throws, but then when it doesn't translate the same, it's a done deal because you have to play both sides of the ball. And then you also give it. He was on the Giants last season, and then this season he had the hurt Achilles, I think, or his ankle. And a lot of people just don't like it because he doesn't maybe seem as interested in as maybe red zone, like you go for the world championship or whatever.
Yeah.
And then on the defensive side of the ball, he's not
a liability.
good. He's a tier 5 defensively. And I mean, I'm a tier 5. And like, I think if Berra would cover me, it'd be an interesting matchup. Like, but I'm just a tier 5. If he was covering anybody quicker, it's
But I also think it's drive too. I mean, Berra has the IQ for football, so I'm pretty sure he sees the field at a different level. But again, like you said, an offensive mind, you're gonna favor. Okay, let's just hurry up and get defense over with, so we can get back on offense.
Yeah, and his intensity, even when he was playing quarterback on the Giants and stuff, his intensity seemed like it wasn't all there.
Lackluster.
Yeah, like I don't know. I have nothing against him. I hope he's here week 3, so he could play and shut some people up. You know.
No, definitely. I'm rooting for Berra. All right. So what's next? What's the next?
So we'll
topic?
go ahead and talk about the big trade that happened yesterday. And we're filming this Tuesday morning, so if another trade happens after this, what is it? It's 11:15. So if another trade happens after this, well, our segment's gone to shit. But
Yeah. We'll expound on that a different week.
But yeah, for sure. So the trade was the Cowboys received Brett and Emerson, who Joan originally drafted Emerson. He got Brett and Emerson, and he traded away Andy and Gerson. The Packers ended up with Marcos and Andy, and the Seahawks ended up with Ernie and G. So what do you think about that trade?
To me, that's a confusing trade. You're so successful week 2,
Both the Cowboys and the Packers.
both teams. Why is it that you trade your players? I feel like, Johan wined and dined Andy just to ship him out with a full stomach.
I disagree. I think this season, Joan has mentioned that he's not looking for trades, but trades are coming to him. I think it's because a lot of captains aren't looking to trade. Like, I haven't heard any rumors of Chris D. I haven't heard any rumors of David. I know David's received offers, but David likes his team. He doesn't look to move it. Same thing with Jordan. And Joan's always down to trade. He'll listen to any trade, and he'll try to make his team better. And then I think Nico, rookie captain coming in, he's got that trade rush where he can move players. Not like Joan last year, where he could move players left and right. And
I just think Nico looks up to Johan and
Yeah.
he wants to mimic what he does. And so far, Nico's been successful. Let's see if Nico's mind helped him out this time or kind of
in
took him away.
my opinion, I think the Cowboys won the trade. They brought on Brett. Alec as tier 5, he's really a tier 4.
Yeah.
And he played like a tier 3, people say last week. I didn't see any games, I didn't play him.
No, I've
But-
seen it. He was
but
wide open.
Alec can ball. He's deceptively quick. He could rush. He's a great asset at tier 5, and he's even at tier 4, and that's why I think Joan was okay with bringing in a tier 5 and Emerson.
I think what makes him a borderline tier 3, tier 4 player is that ability to throw.
Yeah,
Johan could play receiver as well.
yeah. I don't know if Joan will put the ball in his hand. I think Joan would rather trust himself throwing it. But this
course.
could also be a later trade bait for Joan.
No, of course. I think, honestly, he wants to beef everyone up just to get
Yeah,
his brother
and
back.
that's
I guess
the
that's a
move.
talk to
And
get
also,
Junior.
and Junior's hurt, so that could also be
Benefit,
something else.
yeah. That could benefit him in the long run.
I think the Seahawks may have improved a little bit. So Rivas picked up Ernie, who they played together on G's. They're comfortable playing with each other. Rivas, I don't know. I'm not going to just make assumptions, but he could be a little upset at Brett. Not that it was Brett's fault he missed, but just not being able to have a complete team. Brett being in the high position, what Brett does, like sometimes that
The
does.
contracting, yeah.
Sometimes that does mean that he has to get pulled out days notice where he has to finish the job, and some things take priority over done deal. So maybe he goes Ernie, who he knows is going to be here every week. He knows he can play defense.
Oh, Ernie's been playing
Ernie's been balling.
extremely well. He's not known for his offense, from
Yeah.
what I was told, but he's been
no,
catching
he's
everything
been
that comes
catching
his way.
everything. He makes the moves. He makes the reads.
And defensively, I mean, to me, he should be a rusher. Maybe now he gets to be a rusher because you have G and Rivas.
anyone on that team can now rush.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know if they all lined up 7 yards. CP can rush. Ernie can rush. I doubt Rivas would rush, but Rivas can rush, and G can rush too.
Yeah.
And then Tony's up there in sacks, so
Yeah.
you never know what's going to happen for that team now. And then them picking up G over Marcus, I like that.
They have 2 tier 2s, a solid tier 1, and CP. I think he's a tier 3, 4, but he keeps on.
CP's a tier 3.
Yeah.
The moves he can make, he's smart. He's great defensively. He's lost. He's in better shape than ever before in done deal.
Yeah, he
CP
looks
is
good,
nasty.
he looks good.
I like that team, and I think that trade was made to see if they could pick up a game when Rivas is out.
Yeah.
So I think Ernie, CP, G, Tony,
They have the ability
they
to
could
lead,
steal
yeah.
a game, especially if they're playing one of those bottom-ranked teams.
And Tony is extremely. He plays quarterback really well, and he sees the field.
Yeah,
So-
with Rivas out, Tony would be playing quarterback. They'd
Hands
be
down.
doing a lot of handoffs.
Mhm.
I think with CP and G, a lot of different playmaking to give you different looks. But like, I don't think that they got worse with that trade. I like their team with that trade. And then I think the Packers lost that trade.
Yeah, the Packers found a way to rape themselves. I could be wrong.
I could be wrong, or this could be just be leading up maybe a trade
To
for
a
next
different
week
trade, yeah.
with Marcos. But now they have Marcos. It's Nico, Marcos, Albert, who's been balling. That's like the biggest steal of the draft, the biggest turnaround.
Whoever did the rankings did did Albert a disservice, not ranking him a tier 3.
Yeah.
They did me a disservice. I ended up going tier 3, but
Albert was a disgusting pickup. And then they have Charlie, Andy and Charlie. I think
Andy's a tier 4.
Andy's a tier 4, so he does improve from Emerson and Andy.
And Charlie's a top tier 5.
Yeah, Charlie's a great tier 5. But the thing is, I don't think the drop off from Ernie and Marcos is way more than the drop off between Andy and Emerson.
Yeah, I don't understand that. But let me tell you, I don't know. Nico
That's
seems that he could get the ball down the field.
He can.
So
he can.
Marcos'
speed,
pending injury, because he's
that's
very
true, he's
injury prone.
But I just think that Ernie provides more. I think on both sides of the ball. Marcos' straightaway speed, nasty. And he could run like the darts and the slants, but I think Ernie reads the field better. He understands the defenses better, and he'll be able to better get open for Nico. That's just my opinion. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes on. So that trade happened. In your opinion, what teams have to trade? What players do they have to trade? And maybe any potential trades you see?
For sure, I see if somehow you could cue in that CC alarm ring here. That were he definitely needs to make a trade, man.
Yeah,
he needs to make a trade. The Dolphins need to make a trade, and in my opinion, we gotta see how we do this week, the Panthers. But if we go 1-1-1 again, there has to be a trade that gets done.
Because it's not just about making playoffs; it's about creating a team to compete with Joan and Nico and potentially win a star. You know.
So I came up with the phrase "keeping up with the Joneses," because it seems like now it's everyone has to keep up with him in order to compete with him.
For sure.
Last year the Titans almost took it, but they couldn't.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah,
so
especially with these trades that he's made. So I can see maybe also the Chiefs making a trade. I think Chris D, he's been playing well as quarterback, but I think he's just so much more valuable outside of there. Because if you have, say, the best other player is now guarding Junior instead of guarding Chris D, so then like it just leaves the defense too much. They could rush, like my team. We can rush Fernie on Chris D, so we're matching up Fernie with a captain in that aspect, and then we have Ham and we have Ant, and there's people better on defense. So I think that the Chiefs were to go for a cornerback, maybe like a Bender for a JD or something like that, because I think they're better off with Chris D playing receiver and being that weapon on the outside.
Chris D has had up and downs as quarterback, but as of recently he's been playing really well. But I think
the Chiefs went 0-3.
They went 0-3.
They went 0-3, but Junior did get hurt the second game.
Okay, so that's a big drop off too. So right now, if I'm Chris D, I'm trading for JD.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, I'm trading for a JD, or if he could do again like he did last year with the Giants and Perra at the helms at QB.
Well, I mean, he shipped better. Then the Giants went better. They picked up Urbane when Urbane came into the league. I like Urbane. I don't think the 49ers trade Urbane unless they have another poor outing this week.
Yeah.
Because the Urbane Manny S on defense is a liability. I say that every season. If you have two slower people on defense, it's hard to compete. Because even if like the captains are covered or whatever, you get like a Fernie or a G underneath with a slant, it's hard to guard.
Yeah. I agree.
So there's that. For sure, I think the Steelers make a move with JD. I know JD is perceived as a better quarterback than Pera, but JD has value. Right now, it looks like Pera has no value. Pera's value is at quarterback, so there's no reason for them to have two quarterbacks. You can't line Pera out wide and expect him to make plays and stuff with JD throwing the ball. I think Pera has to be under center for that team for them to win.
Let me tell you that I rushed JD, man, and I was chasing. Hey, JD looks really good this season.
JD's
he lost some weight.
He's in much better shape.
He lost some weight and
done deal, and he looks nasty. It's just that JD does have an ego.
Yeah,
that has to be fed.
I don't think it meshes well with CC, to be honest.
Yeah, they butt heads a lot, and then that's a reason why a lot of people pass on JD in the beginning. JD has that mentality where that he wants to be the captain.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it. He wants to be a captain. He reaches out to other
He
players.
was
for
a
trades.
captain too, if I'm not
He was a
mistaken.
captain
Season 5.
when Brett came into the league. He had
Yeah.
Brett. He had what was his name? T or Tyler. Or
He had the Monstar squad.
Brett
man.
broke. Brett broke his nose week 1.
Yeah, that was a crazy
So
season.
JD
That was a
has
crazy
experience
season.
being a captain, but I think it's harder for him to let go
Of
the
that?
leadership role. As in, I think Ham had that same problem earlier in the last season when Ham wasn't a captain and then he was passed around a lot. Ham's his demeanor has changed a lot from that year to this year. He's much more, not going to say passive, but he understands his role more now.
Yeah.
And he's happy in it. He's happy that he's on a team that respects him and thinks he can make the plays and isn't openly looking to trade him, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think JD, for him to find more success in Done Deal, he's gonna have to change how he looks at it a little bit, for that he's not the captain anymore, and that he's gonna have to listen more to the captains. Of course, you can always have your input on plays and stuff like that, but like let them do their thing. Because I played with CC and I know the personality and I know they could butt heads. And look for a package deal with JD, Kieran, stuff like that, you know.
So you see JD fitting well with the Chiefs. I think
can see
Chris
JD
D's personality could
Yeah,
humble
I
JD
can
maybe
see
down a
that.
little bit. Nothing against JD.
I could
but
also see maybe the Seahawks after this week going after him. The
Okay.
same thing, I think Revis is much more dangerous on the outside than taking balls under center.
So you think maybe they ship
Maybe,
off
maybe a JD for a CP or maybe a JD for a G,
G.
something like that, because the Steelers need more talent outside because they need to start better at QB.
yeah.
That's what they need to do because there's no value in Peta anywhere else other than QB.
So do you see what potential trades you see as far as the Dolphins? Because for sure they need to make a trade.
It's hard. It's gonna. I don't think they'll be able to make a deal this week because the teams are gonna want to see if Ray and Jeremy are healthy.
100%.
But
yeah.
maybe a Jeremy Timmy package to one of those teams I mentioned. So maybe a Chris D, where Jeremy could play quarterback. Jeremy's very passive with his plays. He lets the captains call whatever plays they want, and then he has some
and he
of his
makes
own
his
plays.
reads. I think Jeremy fits better as quarterback, man. You can't have him.
Jeremy's value is higher at quarterback. He's
And-
not a number 1 receiver.
Yeah, and they're treating him as a number 1 receiver.
Yeah, they have him lined up across from Timmy, and like, it's tough. I think Jeremy's value is higher at quarterback, so maybe he goes to a team that's looking to throw more.
Yeah, definitely.
But like I said, I don't think a deal for the Dolphins is made this week, pending injuries.
Okay.
Nobody's gonna trade for a player they don't know if they're gonna be able to run the next week, you know.
Yeah, very true.
Unless they're in the position, maybe a Joan, where he could take on a junior even if it's hurt, because he has that cushion. He has that 2-game lead, whatever. He's confident that he could win a couple games without a player. So that would be like the only person I'm looking that would make a trade for an injured player.
All right, I respect that.
And then the Panthers, I think they need more speed. I'm not going to go as far as Jordan said when he said what? He said you, Kenny, and Andres were what, short and fat?
Yeah.
Like, and then Andres
I
went
haven't
and,
ate in a week. This is my first meal.
Andres,
Thank you, Jordan.
Andres went and scored a bunch of touchdowns. It fueled the Panthers a bit, I think. It's definitely fueled Andres.
Oh, Andres played lights out,
Yeah.
man. Hey, he said, yeah, I'm short and fat.
I think they have to make a move just because they do need a little more.
What
a little
potential
more
trade
speed.
do you see fit?
It's hard. The most value, and then it doesn't help that you went on to be dud of the week.
Well, I
you wanna talk
self-proclaimed.
about that.
I self-proclaimed dud of the week, and okay, I understand my role as a player as well, so I'm not gonna complain. I don't care about stats. I get to the quarterback. They rush the throws. I'm gonna do my job. Marshall tells me what to do. Matt tells me what to do. I'm gonna do it.
For sure.
But again, if you're not getting me the ball, then I can't.
Well, I get that.
You know, I had 2 touchdowns that were called back. One was a sack by Kieran. It was a bang play,
Uh-huh.
and another one that Matt just missed me, and
Yeah.
he threw it over me. I mean, no, it happens. That's
yeah.
football. But I'll be back this week. I'll be
Yeah.
back to normal this week.
So,
I think
I mean, who do you play this week? Do you know who you play, or you want me to check?
we play the Cowboys, the Seahawks, and I'm forgetting the 49ers. Okay.
So those are 3 high rated teams.
We have a tough schedule this
High
week.
octane offense.
Yeah.
You have the new look Seahawks, and then you have Joan with Brett and Enzo on either sides, and Alec under center, and then you have who's the last team?
The 49ers.
49ers with Alfarito, Jordan. So we'll see. Well, this will be this
A
is
testament
probably
week,
This might
yeah.
be your toughest week. for sure much tougher than the last week.
So what? But like in your head, what would you formulate a potential
It's hard.
trade?
It's hard with your team because most of the value this season is coming off of Marsh and Matt.
Yeah.
You would have to separate them. It had to be a big move.
So it
wouldn't
has to be a captain move.
It's a potential captain move or Marsh. If Jeremy is healthy, it could be something with the Dolphins. Maybe picking up a Jeremy to run Q, a Jeremy Timmy kind of situation, but it implies Kevin maybe not playing quarterback. You might have a Kevin Marsh team up. We don't know. But
Is that a good team up? Do you think?
I think Kevin Marsh is a good team up because Marsh takes over that defensive role, but Marsh can cover a Revis. Marsh can cover.
Yeah.
He can cover a Ham.
Which allows Kevin to go rush.
He could rush, or Kevin could just man up the second best defender. I would like a Kevin Marsh team up. I know they butt heads a lot, but they've played outside Dundee. They played together. They played in Turkey Bowls, whatever. They've been red zones together. So I think
they had that chemistry.
Yeah, but also that's pending injury.
Yeah.
But with Marsh, we'll have to we'll have to probably bring Kenny, or maybe even you. I know your name has been thrown out in some trade talk.
Yeah.
Earlier.
Which look, I'm for the benefit of the group. Whatever makes the team better, both ways. I'm not into trade rape. I'm not going to agree to something like a Marion for Ham. It doesn't make sense.
And that's a big thing if it's Marsh because the whole team has to agree since the captain.
But I know one thing: Marsh has been very transparent with us, and he's been clear cut. He's we should watch the video, right?
It was about the Marshall transparency.
Yeah, I was saying. So Marshall's been transparent with us the whole time. He's been keeping us in talks with the trade rumors, and he even told us he put himself on the market just to see what he was able to reel in.
Yeah.
But one thing about Marshall, which I love, he's like, I'm not going to accept a trade that doesn't leave both teams equal.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna trade an Andres for a Charlie. No, I'm just spitting out random names.
Yeah.
So I really do like that aspect, and that's why I feel captain wise, Marshall is still a top captain.
Okay.
So
yeah, I agree. Marshall's very transparent in anything he does. Like in any Dundee season, he'll even admit it. He'll be like, "Yo, I did a terrible draft." Like he won't admit it during the season, but after the season, he's like, "I need to do better," or stuff like that.
Which this year, I mean, it was kind of a balance, man. But look, the drop off between tier 3 and tier 4 was big. After because who drafted Kieran? Someone drafted.
It was Remy.
So Remy drafted Kieran, which messed up the whole draft.
That's true, but there were other players. There was Albert.
But no one knew about Albert. That's the thing.
No, but there's CP. He passed up on CP because CP was missing a week.
Yeah. I agree. I shouldn't have been drafted tier 3. 100%. 100%.
I mean, I think Marsh should use his first pick in future seasons for someone that will help him draft. Someone that's known as a good drafter.
Which I feel like this is Matt's first season.
Matt's first season. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Second season, Matt? Say he's not captain?
Say Kevin wasn't a captain and Marsh picked up Kevin. I think Kevin's mind would help Marsh out in the draft.
And they were drafting together. They
were drafting together, but for different teams. I think maybe Kevin could have said
helped
some
them
things.
out. Yeah.
Marsh could have said some things, but also at the end of the day, they wanted to better themselves.
Of course.
So I wasn't there. I don't know what conversations went on.
But I think as from the first season Marshall's been here in Dundee, he's improved his draft.
Well, I mean, the first season he was drunk when he drafted. He was drunk,
but that's an excuse.
And then the second season, I think he was driving when he drafted. And obviously, these things he could have planned differently to be better prepared for the draft. But yeah, so I'm gonna read you the schedule, and I want to know who you think the game of the week is, and if you think there's gonna be any upset stuff like that, just to kind of like end cap that segment. So we got Broncos, Dolphins, Packers, Steelers, Cowboys, Niners. Should be a good game. Seahawks, Panthers, football team Chiefs, Broncos, Steelers, football team Cowboys, Panthers, 49ers, Dolphins, Chiefs, Packers, Seahawks. That might be a good game. It's a redemption game. I think Ernie mentioned that earlier. Then we got football team Broncos, Steelers, 49ers, Chiefs, Packers, Cowboys, Panthers, Seahawks, Dolphins.
I think, and I'm going with a random one here. I'm going football team Cowboys. because I want to
Football
see
team, Cowboys.
I want to see where Drew stands
Yeah.
with his team.
And I think defensively they're good.
Yeah.
It's just will they have enough offensive firepower to
that's why I'm saying, because
keep up? You know,
if Drew can score once on defense,
think up pick six. Okay.
they could turn that game around. So that's my potential upset game of the week. If not, then who do the Packers play?
I think the Packers play the Steelers, the Packers play the Seahawks, and the Packers play the Chiefs.
So Packers Chiefs might be a
Yeah.
good one too.
I think it's going to be the Cowboys 49ers. I think it's a comeback week for the 49ers.
Okay.
They're going to come back with a vengeance, going 1-2 and losing to a depleted Seahawks team. I think that's a make or break week for them.
You know, Jordan's a really good leader, man. Jordan knows how to rally the troops. He knows how to call plays. Very high football IQ from what I've seen. But I still think they need to make a trade as well. He has a lot of assets.
Yeah, for sure.
Jules has been playing lights
Jules
out.
has been doing good.
Alfarito's been injured, so I can't really
He hasn't messed
knock
up
him.
finger, that's true.
But he's still been making
Urbane's a
plays.
great quarterback.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a lot of rolling action and stuff, but you're going to get accurate passing.
But he's gonna sit in the pocket and take the rush and
He'll
launch
sling
it there.
He'll sling it.
He'll sling it.
And then Manning as a champion, you know.
The champ.
Yeah.
Who, for as far as projections for studs and duds of the week, who do you got?
It's so hard because even if a team is good, not everyone's gonna eat unless you're on the Cowboys. Everyone eats on the Cowboys.
Everybody.
But I don't know. I'm looking at the duds to come from the same team. Maybe the Steelers. Maybe a champ. Champ's been reached for. Maybe Champ doesn't do as well this week when he plays some higher competition. I don't know. It's hard. And the studs is gonna go. It's gonna look like it could probably be Jordan again. It could be
Jordan.
Nico.
I think
Jordan.
I think
They have a
Jordan
bounce
gets,
back week.
if Jordan beats
If they beat
the
the
Cowboys,
Cowboys, if they
Jordan's
beat the
gonna
Cowboys.
get Jordan for sure is gonna get stud of the week.
Yeah. You never know.
Well, I mean, in closing, man, this is our first episode of Coffee with a Cop. I think it went well. We'll see the feedback and see if we continue the segment. This has been brought to you by Starbucks. I got the pumpkin spice cold brew.
And I have a flat white. It's not sponsored.
Oh, we're not sponsored.
We're not
I mean,
sponsored.
Mendoza's sponsored, but
No. But yeah, thank y'all for giving us your time of day.